Hi, friends. Host Eric here. Questo de taciendo de Famiose de Piplio plays, also known as Talking with Famous People. I am the not so proud owner of a community guidelines strike. So, I am somewhat at a loss for exactly how to proceed, actually. I'm not really sure what I'm going to end up doing here. It's just the reality is, regardless of anything else, it's difficult to walk away from the advantages of 6,000 or so subscribers over none. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to end up doing here. Hi, Chris Chapin. Hi, Jim B. Hi, Cloud. How are you guys this morning? Hi, David Naughty. Or Note. Not. Maybe there's a silent K in there. Silent invisible K. It's an invisible K in your name. Your name's actually Kanati. Okay, so I have various things to say about free expression and hate speech and algorithms and so forth. I think I'm going to talk it out here in this live stream. I'd like to have other people have input into this conversation as well. And then I'm going to make a video for this channel that's specifically about having received a community strike, what I received it for, why I think it's unfair. I've received 2 community strikes now, one for bullying or harassment, which was for a harsh critique of C.S. Joseph. Harsh, and I guess the language is somewhat abusive in my critique of C.S. Joseph. That guy was definitely using name calling. So does that qualify as a community guideline strike? Apparently now it does. Okay. I can accept that I guess I crossed some lines there, that are now lines. There's a separate question, which is, ought they be lines? And I mean, I think you're talking about a very slippery slope here if you're saying, because look, here's the thing. I didn't threaten any violence. I didn't advocate any violence. I didn't, there's a lot of lines I didn't cross, right? I did call him a coward and stuff. I think I probably called him a worthless sack of shit or something like that. Okay, so there's a point Cloud is saying here is YouTube was a while with a lot of shit talking. YouTubers are burning a lot less. I mean, I would take some exception to that because I remember when I started on YouTube, there were a lot of rationalists who made their way on YouTube by basically abusing poorly reasoned things, and they'd have a lot of subscribers. Like Sargon of Akkad comes to mind. I don't think he's really around anymore. But I mean, the fact is, I don't mind a reality where I need to adhere to a more PG-13 kind of. Thanks, Octavio Silva. I don't mind obeying guidelines that force me to be more PG-13 in general or something like that. I mean, I guess it was a matter of word choice. There was name calling involved in the first video. Now, I'll get to the second one in a second. The second strike is the one that cost me to have to not be able to upload for a week, So, hi, Rachel Lapalosa, my precious angel. Are you sleepy? I'm kind of sleepy, too. You and I are connected across the continent. Well, Cloud, I mean, you generally don't think that talking is very useful, probably, if you really are an ESFP. So regarding that first warning that I got, it was a video that I made of SES Joseph, which incidentally received a massive amount of support from the community as a whole. I was surprised actually, because normally when I make shit talking videos in the past, it's I usually get, you know, I usually get a negative response from the community as a whole. But in that instance, even though it was very harsh, I got a lot of positive feedback on it, a lot of positive comments, a lot of thumbs up, a lot of views, etc. But it didn't matter, you know. So the thing is, then, well, this is the thing. There's been shit talking and legitimate-ish critiques. Now, my critique may have been, I may have been immature in my word choice. But the points I was making were absolutely legitimate. And there's nothing wrong with legitimate critique of somebody who's a public figure, who's positioning himself as an expert in something, and is willfully spreading disinformation. So there's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. In fact, it's required to be, for me to be a good YouTube citizen, requires that I periodically call him out, you know, but absolutely don't need to do what I did that time. I was pissed because what I didn't like was him attacking Taylor. You know, he can attack me or whatever. I can just tease him because it's so silly. The notion that he would have any possible legitimate means to attack me is ridiculous. But Octavio, have you heard the sun stay forever feet Sitviker? It's a strange sentence. So the second thing is I got a strike for what do you call it? For hate speech. I made a video in which I was doing sort of a joking around kind of recap of world history. I did one for World War I did one for World War II, and that was one that got me a hate speech thing because, you know, I said some sentences in the voice of Hitler that would be typical of what Hitler might say, but do not represent my position at all, nor were they being positioned in the video as a good thing. I was making fun of Hitler. It was maybe bad comedy. I don't think it was a very good video, but it was nevertheless obviously not hate speech. I was at no point have I ever engaged in hate speech. That doesn't mean I haven't said words that may count as hate speech, but you need to be able to take those words and make them an object of analysis. You can't do so without being able to say them. So if I talk about a priest, I might have the priest say in his voice, you know, we really need to fill all the pews with parishioners. That doesn't mean I'm advocating for filling all the pews, right? I'm playing a character called a priest who would say something like that because he's a priest. But just because I play a character of a priest that says something like fill all the pews is not reason to conclude that I'm a hate speaker. So the thing is, I'm not denying, Stan, that this is probably algorithmic thing that involves a confluence of various factors for it to conclude that yes, indeed it is. But the thing is, it's like that's very much something that people at one time worried about. They worried that they used to worry that the government would have some sort of artificial intelligence and the computers would yeah, the cops call on you 7 times. What an asswipe. What a fucking asswipe. Anyway, well, what is it that you're doing that's getting you having the cops called on you? Are you throwing shit? Is that what's happening? No. She's not talking about a YouTube video. She's saying cops being called on her. She's going through a divorce right now. So what's the takeaway from all this? That in my mind, it's not there's no big takeaway from it, really. I mean, I mostly don't talk shit, you know? I'm mostly not engaged in shit talking. But that doesn't mean I haven't done it in the past at some point. Okay, so I have 20 videos on CS Joseph Cloud, but I've got like 5,000 videos total. Isn't my content precious to me? Some of it is a lot more precious than others. I have no problem with deleting videos that now are going to get me in trouble, but the idea that I'm going to go back through and find all that shit, I mean, I will make an effort to. I'm going to try to avoid being vulnerable again, you know? Is it precious to me? No. Not that, not those videos. I don't give a fuck. If people think I'm obsessed with CS Joseph or something, they're fucking insane. He's the okay, Cloud. I'm not disagreeing with you, right? I've got no problem deleting all the CS Joseph videos. It's not even a drop in the bucket, is my point. They're not videos I'm particularly interested in. Yeah, I guess it is. Of course, that would I guess you just talk to people who make shit up. I don't know. I guess you got some interesting. I'm not fighting the idea of conforming. I'm not saying I shouldn't conform. I'm saying, look, I definitely am going to try to conform to the best of my ability. I always have been trying to conform. I've never been trying to be a rebel here on YouTube and disagree with them or fight their terms of service or community guidelines or whatever. Never at all. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is we can still make pass some sort of judgment on whether YouTube is doing a good job or not of implementing it. I'm not disputing that we should that YouTube has every right to and is probably a good idea to get rid of hate speech. I'm saying that right now YouTube's doing a poor job of it because they've got me for hate speech and I am not a hate speaker. And that wasn't hate speech. You know, it's like I'm not even, you'll notice how I'm not even really trying to defend against the CS Joseph strike on the harassment thing, on the bullying, because I'm quite confident, although I haven't really looked into it, but I'm quite confident that it does violate those standards, you know? Cloud, listen to me. I understand what you're saying. I get that it's not hate speech by any definition. I was making fun of Hitler. I was playing a character of Hitler, saying things that Hitler might say. It's clearly not hate speech. I'm not advocating those things at all. In fact, I was holding them up for ridicule. So it's not just by my definition, it's by any reasonable definition of the word hate speech. I have not engaged in it, period. I am not a racist. I'm not a misogynist. I'm not. I just am not. It just isn't the case. So, Cloud, you're not understanding what I'm saying. I agree with you that I should delete those videos that make me vulnerable so that I don't get every video deleted. I understand that's the risk here. I get that. You keep acting as though I don't understand this. YouTube's really all there is, Jim B, as far as I'm concerned. I've put so much time into it. And that's the thing. That's the thing that's frustrating is it's not like I've been a fast growing channel. It's not like this has been something that's a project that's some sort of corporate endeavor or an endeavor that is profit minded or whatever. It's like this is an autobiography for me, and this is an experiment in. No, I know they do, MT. I agree with you. The algorithm does. My whole point is here. Then there's a problem that they should try to fix, because they are misidentifying people as hate speakers. That's not, I did not engage in hate speech. So then the thing is, pointing out that YouTube apparently thinks I did does not disagree with me. I agree. They apparently think I did, and they are wrong is my point. And that is an objectively determinable question. It is not subjective. It's not their opinion, my opinion, whatever. It can be determined objectively whether I engage in hate speech. If, in fact, hate speech is a real thing, which I agree it is, I mean, it's groupism. I am the least hate-speaky person in history. Well, see, Chris Chapman, I don't really know what I'm going to do regarding all this stuff right now. I'm still trying to figure that out. I want to find out, first of all, if I start getting in my recommended videos, if I'm acting as TWFP Archives, will I now start getting TWFP videos in my recommended videos again? So, obviously, I don't know what I'm going to do. I think Rachel's probably right there when she says there's a really good possibility somebody was offended, somebody watching was offended or looking to hurt the channel, and the Hitler thing was it, right? So I think they were looking for something to flag, right? And they found something. I agree that that's the most likely explanation. Hi, Elijah Rude. I mean, I was thinking about that. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do. I have to think more about it. I think that, before I get attached to this channel again, I need to. Okay, well, that's fine, Damian Dirk, but then they need to make a more sophisticated audio algorithm, one that successfully differentiates between, like 5 years ago, Damian Dirk. Okay, well, maybe it's just the algorithm then. I don't know. That's the other thing is I don't know. But what's most important, though, the only thing that really matters is not why or how I got the strike. What really matters is what they do with your channel after you've been struck. So if in fact they stop putting you in recommended videos after you've received a strike, then it's basically a death sentence for your channel. You're never going to get any bigger, really. On the other hand, if I still get treated the same as before, except now I just have a strike that I have to carry around forever, then I have good reason to put a lot of energy into going back through my videos and deleting anything that might be questionable, downloading and deleting anything that might be questionable. And that's a lot of work that I'm not excited to do, but I think it's probably the best thing to do. I don't know. I'm feeling well, it's like I did a terror pool for myself this morning, and I got the crying over spilt milk cup one as the frame. Yeah, I do, Chris Chapman. I think I may have stopped appearing in recommended videos as long ago as when I got the warning on the C.S. Joseph video. Disheartened. That's exactly what I'm feeling, Zaylen Black. That's exactly what I'm feeling. Disheartened. It's a perfect adjective for it. Right, but they probably don't have Hitler saying he wants to fill all the pews. Yeah, disheartened. Boy, what a great adjective. That exactly expresses what I'm feeling right now. I feel like just sort of a general sense of wanting to cry, I guess. I'm also out of coffee creamer, which also makes me want to cry a little bit. Because a world without coffee creamer is like a day without sunshine, which is like night. Also, my sink's clogged again. That's annoying. I have to get some fucking drain cleaner. God damn it. What do you want, kitty meow meow pants? Cause you're a very kitty meow meow pants. Everyone can see that you are not a dog or a pig. Instead, you're a kitty. Meow. What, kitty meow meow pants? What? How did you become so silly? There was a huge windstorm here last night, and interestingly, somehow symbolic of something, I don't know what, there was this one avocado on the tree that Rachel and I spotted when Rachel first got here, or I pointed out to her or something, I don't know. And we watched it the whole time she was here. And it remained on the tree the whole time she's been gone. It was like I saw other avocados fall off the tree, but that one avocado remained there, just growing slowly, like it was going to finally become a full avocado. And then there was a massive windstorm last night. I mean, it's still windy right now, but I mean, it was crazy windy, like about 4 in the morning this morning. Huge gusts of wind, and it blew the avocado down. So, as to put an end to any connectivity between her first visit here and the current or upcoming visit, which I think is interesting. Also, the first camellia on this bush bloomed, which when she left, there weren't any blooms on it, and it's been dramatically slow in blooming. All the other camellia bushes around have already bloomed. This one still hadn't bloomed until like yesterday when the first bloom came in. So that's changed too, I think the key point here of this issue regarding the strikes and such is what's going on here? Why did this pop up all of a sudden? Hi, baby. I just got your message on Google Hangouts. Yeah, I noticed that, Hambone. I may, I may do it like that, Chris Chapman. I was thinking about Galactic Gangster. So I think the thing is before I make a firm decision about continuing to try to work anything on this channel, particularly, I need to go back and delete a bunch of old content. It's interesting because this channel currently, and these sort of stats used to matter to me a lot more than they do now, but this channel currently has over 2 million views total. So that's not bad, So that's going to go down when I delete a bunch of videos, but probably most of those old videos that I'm going to delete have very few views anyway. It's not like I was ever getting popular talking shit, for example. It was always something I did because I was mad. It wasn't a strategy. So, but I get it. I guess the obligation's on me to go back and delete a bunch of shit, so I will. I agree, Hambone. I understand that. The thing is, I believe myself to be exactly the sort of voice YouTube actually wants. If you look at the about thing on YouTube, when you first go to YouTube, if you're not really logged in as anything, and you look at it, it talks about basically the mission statement of YouTube, and it being supporting of free expression, inclusion, and I uphold all those values. I respect that the change in the terms of service and standards and stuff are such that they require me to take a more mature approach to critique, and that's okay. Um, the thing is, you can really tell the chilling effect of an instance like this. So it checks me all the time as to what I can and will and won't, and et cetera, say. Well, Desert INTJ, that may be one of their strategies. But I tend to more agree with Hambone. Their strategy is basically, we want to make as much money as possible, and I think they're doing a pretty good job of basically, they want to separate out the serious channels from the channels that just post occasionally and all that kind of stuff. And they want to, well, I mean, look, when you say they're trying to sanitize everything, right now, what's happening is they're going overboard a bit. Are you behind on the stream? What do you say? Okay, Cloud, why are you so antagonistic? Why do you say I'm seeking justice? What I'm doing is trying to articulate, particularly what's going on right now in this moment of history for YouTube, is the pendulum swung a little hard towards the sanitization side of things. In the sense that, even if it hasn't, their tools are still too clumsy. So it's like, does YouTube need to fix this? It would be better for YouTube and better for everybody if YouTube were to fix this, so that the algorithm does not pick up people like me who are not guilty of hate speech as being guilty of hate speech. Because look, there's a difference here between the bullying harassment thing and the hate speech thing. The former is a fairly subjective, interpretive kind of difference. And so there might be clear rules within the guidelines that indicate what counts as it, but even so, there's going to be some interpretive room there. Hate speech should not really be open to interpretation very much. It's pretty clear cut if you're talking about a group that's either women or a particular sexuality or whatever else. I don't doubt that YouTube is doing a good job of promoting celebrities, but YouTube still is fundamentally, the engine of it is the average person making YouTube videos. Okay, Kitty, go, please. God, why do you have to be in and out, Kitty, all the time? Just make up your goddamn mind. So, look, the purpose of this video and my position in general is simply to articulate where I think I don't feel terribly victimized or anything. I don't feel as though I need justice or whatever. Yeah, I get you, Hambone, and I understand that it's tricky business, and they've got to come up with a tool that's effective on a broad scale. And if they allow this, then people can exploit it because they can make satire. It's not really satire, like Hambone's talking about. Lubomir Cat says they won't be able to make the algorithm consider context. Well, I mean, you could think of it like this, though. They could have the algorithm contextualize a given purported instance of hate speech among the channel other content. So most people who are engaged in hate speech or like race politics or that kind of shit, that's their topic, and they do that all the time. Or, it's like YouTube ought to be able to note that among the pool of total videos on this channel, that seems to be a dramatic outlier. That's the sort of context an algorithm could consider, So I would say that it's not exactly true that they can't consider context in some way. It's just they can't consider context on a video by video basis like that. Like they're never going to be able to explain. An algorithm won't be able to explain why something is legitimately humor versus artificially humor or whatever. Right. Well, they could indeed just simply empower the individual to make their own choices more, to refine the user experience more. I agree with you, Lubomir Cats. I totally agree with that. I think that the best way to engage hate speech is to engage it directly, as I've attempted to do. I debated Right Ruminations. He's not engaged in hate speech, but he's engaged in politics that consider race. Let's put it that way. And I debated against him, because I oppose that shit. There was this person named Bellfire66 who actually was anti-Semitic, and I engaged her and made fun of her ridiculous notions. So the thing is, I agree, Cloud, that YouTube wants safe commercial content, and even if I'm on the right side of the question, that's a can of worms they don't want to try to parse out, basically. So I understand that's the reality of things, and what I'm advocating for is nothing here in particular, except that that if YouTube is going to suppress the channel, in other words, not put my shit in recommended videos anymore, if that is in fact the consequence of getting a strike, or if or a warning, or both, or whatever, then they need to let us know that. That's the only fair thing to do, is to at least say, hey, look, realistically, your channel's dead now. You're not going to grow anymore because we are suppressing this shit. Okay, fine. Then at least you're being honest with me and fair with me, and I have a chance to make my decision accordingly. But if, I'm still monetizing my videos. I mean, I could choose to not monetize videos. It's not like I'm making much money on anything on YouTube anyway. So it doesn't really make any difference. Why does this keep lighting up like I've got some new message, but there's no new message? Go to Twitch, host Eric. That's a live streaming platform, huh? The thing is, going forward, I don't anticipate myself doing anything that's going to cause problems with any platform. The bottom line is, I am a legitimate provider of legitimate content. I am not trying to exploit wedge issues to cause divisiveness amongst people or promote divisiveness. Quite the contrary. I'm promoting individualism against communitarianism in general, and the moral authority and responsibility of the individual moral agent. So I don't anticipate any platform banning me based on what I do now, but I think it's something kind of unfair in general about making this thing retroactive. Like, well, I mean, they're not the government, though. Rachel's the problem. So, YouTube has no obligation to protect my freedom of speech on their platform. Granted, their business model is one that profits off of everybody exercising their freedom of speech, but there's they have no obligation to make their privately owned platform one that supports a broader or less broad scope of speech. They don't have any response. I mean, look, the thing is, their responsibility would come from contract in general, or from implied contractual obligations. So, I mean, if you were going to try to establish that they have some sort of obligation to protect free speech, you'd have to establish that was like part of the agreement going in with everybody, because it is a privately owned thing. Like, for example, if you come over to my house and you start engaging in hate speech, I might say, you have to stop doing that, or else you're going to have to leave. And you go, I can say whatever I want, free country, blah, 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 blah. And you start doing it again. And I say, okay, well, then you have to leave now. And you'd either leave or you'd say, I refuse to leave, at which point I'd have to call the cops, and they'd come and say, you have to leave. Because it's my house. And so I get to decide what kind of speech is acceptable in my house. I don't have to tolerate people who, for example, decide to come over and visit me. And, well, I agree it's different under business laws in general, that there is a responsibility to be equally accessible, for example, in the United States. But well, neither is YouTube's. They're not infringing on my freedom of speech. They're not saying I can't say that. They're just saying I can't say that here. So, the thing is, granted, we do treat those things differently in different contexts. Like in California, there was this horrible ruling that did I get a notice by a moderator? I don't know. I don't know, Ruthmas. It's impossible for me to know. So in California, we have a Supreme Court ruling that said that supermarkets are the front of supermarkets, not the inside of them, count as the public space for the purposes of like petitioning and whatever else. And so in front of supermarkets, you have Boy Scout skis, you've got the people having you sign petitions, like any kind of bullshit that you want to have out there, basically, that's not for profit. So you get your charity people standing there asking for money, whatever, and the supermarket can't make them leave their property. That area of their private property has been declared public space for the purposes of free speech, but it's not declared public space for the purposes of free speech inside. In other words, I can't set up a table with my charity inside the supermarket and claim free speech. So yeah, Hambone, I know I need to do a little bit of analytics and analysis. If you went to a restaurant and said to me, "You suck, Cloud," you'd be in trouble. I wouldn't be in trouble if I went to a restaurant and said, "You suck, Cloud." Is that your point? Well, no, but I mean, if we went to a restaurant and I started cussing you out loud enough for everybody to hear, then they'd probably kick us out. I agree. YT is basically a monopoly in this particular market niche, but it's not. Yeah, if I started yelling that shit, then it kicks out. Sure, it's all right to not like the policies of the website and criticize them for sure, but a lot of YouTubers try to argue against it from a free speech angle. Well, I'm not arguing from a free speech angle. I respect the fact that YouTube's a private corporation and this is their platform and they can do with it as they please. I am saying that I'd like to see YouTube be the best version of YouTube that it can be, and I have an opinion about that and would like to share what it is, Right. I agree with you, the nobleman. But I don't know if it makes it less enjoyable or not. I do know that it's well, disheartening is the adjective. I feel disheartened by the recent events. And it's like right now it does provide a lot to creators. Well, I mean, we can conform to their terms and guidelines, or incur the consequences. Right? It's not like to say that we can be polite in return would imply that somehow they're being polite in their dealings with people who don't adhere to their terms and stuff, which is not the case at all. There's no. This is very much a my way or the highway kind of thing, which is their prerogative, and understandable. But it's a different world than the one I grew up in. When I was younger, I would have made a big fuss about the importance of free expression and prioritizing that over everything else and whatnot. But I am a little bit more nuanced in my thinking now, and it's been 9 months after hitting 5,000 subs. Policies should be pushed back on when they don't make sense. Currently, it's a word match for the most part, and context isn't accounted for, like when they were banning World War II history channels. Yeah, I mean, obviously, if something's not working properly, then it's not working properly. And there's no disputing the fact that if they're considering what I did as hate speech, then it's not working properly. Now, they may, or what would be fair if they wanted for it to be fair, they'd say something like, okay, this retroactive one, we're removing this, but we're not giving you a strike for it because it's retroactive, Well, pushback just means talk about it, basically, like I'm doing right now. I've been here 6 years. Right. And the edgier channels from that time can't operate the same way anymore. It's true. And maybe I count as an edgier channel. I don't know. In order to really test the thing, Hambone, I would need to. YouTube's owned by Google, so it doesn't. It's not its own stock. I don't think. Well, I'm not. Look, I'm talking about an interesting topic. I'm talking in terms of normatives or prescriptives. What ought to be morally, or what ought to be for just sort of productivity standpoint, or just good TE. Like, yeah, can you? What will there come a day when this gets me in trouble? Then all my videos are gonna get strikes, right? It's like. It is that time of year again, Ambone. We could finish last year's tournament. Well, I think what I'm going to do is, in just a little bit, I'm going to upload and release on TWFP Music Karate Girl, which is done. Pretty sure it's done. It is. Because the thing is, I've been working on that song now for a lot longer than I normally would have, because I probably would have uploaded it already under normal circumstances. Which is one of the reasons why it's a good thing to sort of have this happen in general. It's like, it makes me realize a lot of shit. Like, okay, Eric, make every video you make purposeful. Don't do half-ass shit, right? If you want to half-ass stuff, live stream. That's inherently half-assing. If you're going to upload any videos at all, then make sure they're done and good. And if you're going to start these new channels, make sure that you have consistent content. Yeah, I have a TWFP Music channel already, which I will share with everybody now. Here, I'll put the link. If you go to the Talking with Famous People page, it's one of the featured channels. I haven't uploaded it for a long time. Yeah, I had streams going on in the TWFP Archives channel. Okay, well, I'm not going to do that, Cloud, obviously. Here's the archive channel. So I'm gonna upload all of my musics over time to the music channel and delete them from the main channel. Or I may just leave them on the main channel. I may no, not really Dawson K. Not particularly a Tom Waits fan. Not terrible, but you stream 10 times in your timeout week. Well, I can't help it. I don't know. I'm addicted to it, I guess. It's better when there's more people here, right? That's the thing. It's like when I streamed at TWFP Archives, I had 10, 12 people max. Here, I've already got 26 people. So it indicates to me that there's some advantages implicit in having a bigger channel that I may not want to give up, So, yeah, is all I have to say about all that. I'm going to play this song now. Let's see, watch this video and you can hear the song concurrently. Let me bring this over here. Yeah, like so. Let's see what she looks like right if it's done. Haka chika 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 chika. Haka chaka. Chika chika chika. Haka chaka. Haka chaka. Pata papata. Karate tata. Karate girls gotcha. Punch and kick too. Chop a board right into. Chop a brick with her head. Chop a thick, big piece of lead. Karate girl, what sweet me? Knock me to the mat. Take me down. Pin me. Stab me in the nose. Try escaping the gash and ash and trash and don't fight, don't burn a little. Took Marlon Brando, you tucked him in a hole. Elevator tools. Everybody likes to go to Suez pool. Once you was escaping
Dash, 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 dash. Why don't the burger Karate Girl. Akaka chaka. Ipalata. Akaka chaka. Pata. Papata. Karate tata. Karate Girl's gotcha. 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 Gotcha.
I really like that picture. Why did I go to jail? Some fucking dumbass video I made like 5 years ago about World War II, which I'm pretending to be Hitler and making fun of Hitler and I don't know, hate speech. Thanks, Fate Wind. I'll be releasing that right after I'm done with this live stream. Yeah, hey, Taylor, that might be hate speech. Right. Refart? So Bernie Sanders is not an INTP, he's an ENFP. Okay. I won't be an unwoke fascist. All right, I think I'm gonna wrap up this video and upload Karate Girl. And I think I will upload to the music channel and link to it on the main channel. Well, Sean Ryan Barron, here's the thing. Here's the thing, Mr. Barron or Baron. I really have a lot to do today. I need to pack. I need to clean up a little bit around here. I got a lot to do. I got to work at 3 o'clock, 3:30. 3:30, 5:30, I got to work. And, but that's good. I figured I worked last night, I worked tonight, and that will be Rachel and my weed money for Hawaii. Later, hater. I'm going to Hawaii. That's where I'm going. My lighter. Yeah, I was gonna call you after this when I launched the thing. Yeah, Rachel's arriving tomorrow. I mean, I actually can pack tomorrow. It's like I think that I'm leaving on Tuesday because Rachel's getting here on Tuesday, but actually I'm leaving on Wednesday. But anyway, I worked last night, so that'll take care of our weed for Hawaii probably. And I guess we'll buy it there so we don't have to deal with trying to get it in the plane. I hear that you can take it a small amount from legal state to legal state, but does he write chords that require all your fingers on both hands on the piano? Sean Ryan Barron? Yeah. You're my little hibiscus flower, Rachel Apolosa. I like that they have a hibiscus flower here in these things. Let's see what else they got. Emojis. Well, do they have? Do not appear to have. Yes, they do have. Here it is. What I was looking for. Rachel and I are going to eat that when we're in Hawaii. Yes, I do have my account back. Thank you, Coach Trader. Also, we're going to see some of these while we're in Hawaii. No watermelon, Rachel. No, we're not having any watermelon. Okay, my beard tastes like hair. Mostly. Like hair and spirit. Hair and an urgent spirit to succeed. Okay, well, I'm feeling somewhat heartened after being disheartened earlier. Now I'm thinking more like maybe like this. One of those, maybe. There's a lot of different emojis you could use. You could talk only in symbols if you wanted to. Like, hey, you guys, you need to recycle. Okay? Start recycling. Rachel, pack your bags. You're going to Hawaii. Let's see. Talking with famous people's subscriber rate has gone like this. Meow. Wah, wah, wah. Time's running out here on this live stream. Travel. Ooh, here, volcano. You ready to see some volcanoes? Oh, I found 4-leaf clover the other day. I almost got 1,000 subscribers in the past year. Okay. When we're in Hawaii, we should stop by and see the Tokyo Tower. Or we could we're going to take a plane. Like that. Oh, yeah. We're going to, the sun's going to rise over the mountains. It's going to set over the ocean. Hey, Rachel, do you remember when we went to Palm Springs when we rode up to the top of that thing? Remember? It was, I believe it was, went to the top of a mountain. Remember? And when we got there, we got in a sword fight. Remember? Or when we got in the sword fight on top of the mountain? Rachel, we need to buy you one of these. Oh, wait, not one of those. One of these. A bikini. A bikini. We need to buy you a bikini. You're gonna look so sexy in your bikini. Oh yeah, you will. And it's gonna be like, eh. It's gonna be like, ooh la la. Good, Cloud. Glad your dad works at YouTube. This is Cloud's dad. I'm working at YouTube. All right. This is how I feel now. I feel rosy cheeked. Okay. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for being here. Don't forget to eat plenty of cheese. And if you do, eat twice as much next time.